SmackDown wasted no time this week, kicking off the show with a huge segment between John Cena and Cody Rhodes to hype up their upcoming SummerSlam match for the undisputed WWE title. Cena hit the ring first using his black and white entrance visuals, but before he was able to get into his promo, the American Nightmare made his way out, and the tone quickly shifted as it felt like Cena was a babyface all over again. Cena reflected on the last few months of his career and delivered a heartfelt promo to the fans, starting by thanking Rhodes for pushing him for SummerSlam, as he admitted that he has abandoned everything he once stood for. For the first time since his heel turn, Cena acknowledged the fact that he went against his hustle, loyalty, and respect by accepting The Rock's offer, as he noted that The Rock and Travis Scott haven't had his back and have left him to deal with things alone. Cena revealed that he didn't want to sabotage wrestling, but he just wanted to leave the company as champion so fans would never forget him. He believes that the street fight stipulation has forced him to wake up. He then declared that August 1st marked the day that Cena really returned to WWE, seemingly cementing a babyface turn for himself in the process. The fans bought into everything as Cena stated that the champ has officially returned, as he claimed that the fans were going to be the real winners at SummerSlam, as they'd be able to see Rhodes face a focused version of the greatest of all time. However, even though he's now going back to being the man he used to be, Cena made it clear that he was showing up at SummerSlam, not another rapper, and he'd settled things inside the ring. Rhodes listened to everything the champion had to say and responded by going to the timekeeper's area and returning with 2 beers. They toasted to Cena being back as himself in a unique moment on SmackDown. Fans thought there might have been a low blow or an attitude adjustment, but neither happened. Instead, Cena seemingly stayed true to his word, which led fans to wonder if he was truly back as a babyface, or if this was just the latest mind game he was playing with Rhodes and the fans. Cena had delivered many of his classic lines here to hype up the fans, but there were signs it wasn't all as simple as it seemed. Having the black and white entrance graphics and not sprinting to the ring were all examples of his heel run, while having his egotistical ring announcement kept that idea going. His promo added a new layer of intrigue toward SummerSlam though, which was already going to be intense due to the street fight. It has opened the door for interference or a major twist, with one of the big theories being that now it'll be Rhodes' turn to be heel. With so many unanswered questions, it's hard to predict where this story goes next. What do you think? Can John Cena be trusted? Could Cody be the one who snaps at SummerSlam? Share your thoughts in the comments below. As WWE prepares to take over MetLife Stadium this weekend for SummerSlam 2025, one of the most emotional storylines heading into the event comes from a man who's no stranger to big moments, AJ Styles. During the SummerSlam kickoff show, Styles sat down with Michael Cole where he made a heartfelt confession that has had the wrestling world buzzing. The former WWE champion admitted that this Saturday night may mark the final time he competes at WWE's second biggest show of the year. If I'm being honest with you guys, this may be my last SummerSlam, so I plan on tearing the house down one last time at SummerSlam for you guys. For Styles, this match is more than just another high-profile bout, it's deeply personal. He reflected on his career-defining victory over John Cena at a previous SummerSlam, a moment that cemented his place in WWE's upper echelon. Now, years later, he's set to face Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship. Mysterio has made it clear he'll do whatever it takes to retain his title, and with speculation swirling around Styles' future, the stakes feel even higher. As reported by PW Insider in March, it looks like AJ Styles may indeed hang up his boots after WrestleMania 42 next year. What's your take on AJ Styles possibly retiring soon? Do you think it's time, or does the phenomenal one have more to give? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Enjoying the video? A quick like goes a long way in helping us grow and deliver more wrestling news you care about. While AJ Styles is preparing for what could be his final SummerSlam, another fan favorite is heading into the event with a very different challenge. Jey Uso is mentally locked in for SummerSlam, but physically he's not at 100% after taking serious punishment, including multiple tsunami splashes from Bronson Reed. During the SummerSlam kickoff event, Jey Uso addressed his condition heading into the match, saying, "I'm not 100%, something's wrong with my right side, but I'm ready to go to war." This quote confirms that while Jey isn't physically at his best, he's fully committed to stepping into the ring at SummerSlam. Back to SmackDown as Jacob Fatu's war with his former Bloodline stablemate Solo Sikoa continued, which has been ongoing since Money in the Bank when Fatu turned on Sikoa. Since then, Fatu has teamed up with Jimmy Uso and they've struggled with the numbers game, especially after Talla Tonga joined WWE, giving Sikoa's groups a significant power advantage. Sikoa will be defending his United States title against Fatu inside a steel cage at SummerSlam, and the situation reached a boiling point on SmackDown when he requested that the cage drop down upon his command. Tonga had been sent to face Jey Uso on this show in what was his televised in-ring debut, and Solo warned people backstage that a strong message was going to be sent tonight, and that indeed came during the match. Tonga worked at a slow pace with a physical style, dominating Jey from the start with his size advantage, and despite Uso's attempt to rally with a splash, he ended up being caught mid-air as Talla dropped him with a chokeslam. It didn't take long for chaos to ensue though, as Talla Tonga and JC Mateo hit the ring to ambush Jey, which is when Solo demanded that the steel cage be lowered as he aimed to trap Jey inside. Unfortunately for Solo, Jacob Fatu managed to rush the ring just in time as he forced Solo and Talla to scramble away, and he then laid out Mateo and Tama to showcase his own dominance ahead of the title match. With SummerSlam around the corner, the question remains, can Jacob Fatu overcome the numbers and reclaim the United States title inside the unforgiving cage? SmackDown ended in chaos as all four men set for the SummerSlam tag match, Logan Paul, Drew McIntyre, Randy Orton, and Jelly Roll, got into a wild brawl to close the show. It started with Logan Paul and McIntyre in the ring trading insults. Paul mocked Jelly Roll, claiming he thought SummerSlam was a hot dog eating contest and dismissed him as a country star, not a superstar. McIntyre then shifted focus to Orton, warning that whatever happens at SummerSlam would rest on Orton's conscience. Before McIntyre could continue, Randy Orton and Jelly Roll made their entrance. SmackDown GM Nick Aldis tried to block them from entering the ring, but it was no use. Orton and Jelly Roll stormed the ring and launched into a full-blown brawl with Paul and McIntyre. Security rushed in to restore order, forcing Paul and McIntyre to the outside while creating a barrier between the two teams. But the chaos didn't stop there. Inside the ring, Orton dropped two security guards with RKOs, and Jelly Roll followed up with a thunderous chokeslam on another. The show ended with Orton and Jelly Roll standing tall as Paul and McIntyre looked on from ringside. And that physicality wasn't just for the cameras. In the lead up to his in-ring debut, Jelly Roll revealed he's been taking his training seriously, but it's come at a cost. Speaking to ESPN, the country star-turned-wrestler opened up about the brutal reality of wrestling preparation. According to Jelly Roll, the perception that wrestling is fake couldn't be further from the truth. He explained that there's nothing fake about slamming into plywood in front of tens of thousands or flipping over steel ropes in a packed stadium. Jelly Roll further revealed that he accidentally broke his pinky finger during his very first week of training. Describing the process as constant impact, constant collision, he emphasized how real and punishing the sport can be. Now with his in-ring debut just hours away, Jelly Roll will team up with Randy Orton to face Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre at SummerSlam. Given the intensity already on display, the expectations are high, and all eyes will be on whether Jelly Roll can deliver when the lights are at their brightest. Do you think Jelly Roll surprises the world in his debut, or will the experience of Paul and McIntyre prove too much to overcome? Many fans had expected Giulia to get a big spotlight across a two-night SummerSlam event, but that hasn't been the case for the Beautiful Madness, who made her first title defense on SmackDown this week instead. She faced former champion Zelina Vega, who hasn't defended the title since she won it in Riyadh back in late June, and the match ended up being a solid encounter even though they had a fairly slow start. The opening aspect of the match was technical as they employed a lot of grappling and holds. However, Giulia was unable to keep Vega down for the 3 count, opting instead to switch tactics and rely on her strikes to defeat Vega. That led to Zelina dropping into a survival mode where she countered a submission hold with a German suplex, showcasing her own grit and determination, and the match kicked on to another level after this. From this point, it was filled with counters and near falls as the two women kicked things up a notch until Giulia hit her finisher for the second time in the match to secure the win and extend her title reign to 36 days. Giulia's SummerSlam status remains up in the air at this point as there's no new challenger at this point, and she isn't booked to be a part of the two-night event at MetLife Stadium, which is a shame. Fans will be hoping the champion is fit enough to compete in the near future after a moonsault attempt from Vega saw her land directly onto Giulia's face, which saw her clutching the area immediately afterward. What's next for Giulia? Should she be featured on SummerSlam weekend? And if so, who should step up to challenge her? Drop your thoughts in the comments. This week's SmackDown saw a unique moment take place as Los Garza defended their AAA Tag Team titles in an open challenge, which marked the first time that they've put those titles on the line in WWE since they won them back in June. This led to Mr. Iguana and Psycho Clown answering the challenge, marking their in-ring debuts for two individuals who have been rumored to be joining WWE in the near future. Psycho Clown started the match with Angel, and they wasted no time picking up the pace, with Psycho Clown ripping part of his mask off to reveal a red-faced version, but it didn't quite have the same impact in WWE that it does in AAA. Los Garza took control of the match by cornering Psycho Clown as Santos Escobar watched on, while the WWE Universe did chant for Mr. Iguana, who got a big pop when he made the hot tag. However, out of everyone in this match, it was the puppet La Yesca who was the most over, which is a little sad considering the talent of the four men involved, as being outshone by a puppet cannot be an easy situation for them. The match sadly had a few hiccups along the way too, with Mr. Iguana nearly having a bad botch when he leapt up to the top rope, only to slip and almost get caught up in them until he sorted himself out. The mistakes were overcome though, and the majority of what they did looked impressive, with Angel and Berto in particular impressing, as the champions retained their title with almost no live reaction. Damian Priest and Aleister Black also squared off in a heated grudge match, but despite the hostilities and issues between them, they didn't start things off with punches flying. Instead, it was a more typical lockup, followed by a brief exchange of holds and counters. However, the tone shifted when the two men started showcasing their striking abilities, targeting their opponents with different stiff kicks and combo strikes. They managed to match each other move for move until Priest upped the level of aggression, launching Black over the announce table with a huge pounce, which got a big response from fans. But before he could keep up the attack, Black launched a chair at him, which brought the match to an abrupt end with a disqualification. However, that doesn't mean the fight was finished. Black kept up the attack by slamming Priest's head repeatedly into the steel stairs, and then connected with a black mass into the ring post, totally laying out the former Judgment Day member. It wasn't the decisive singles match that fans had been hoping to see, but it was an intense encounter, as they made it clear that this feud is far from over. It's also worth noting that R-Truth did not come out to help Damian Priest during the attack. This post-match assault by Aleister Black was brutal and calculated, exactly the kind of moment needed to re-establish him as one of the most dangerous forces in the locker room. This vicious beatdown sent a clear message and successfully set the tone for a darker, more violent version of Black. The segment did its job, and all eyes will now be on how this more sinister path unfolds in the weeks ahead. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair appeared together once again in a backstage segment on SmackDown, continuing their unusual alliance without officially labeling it as a friendship. Bliss threw a subtle jab during their backstage moment, saying Charlotte just doesn't like using the F word, friend. Despite their history as fierce rivals, the chemistry between them is beginning to shift. Their interactions are starting to mix tension with humor as fans watch the dynamic evolve week by week. There's been growing speculation about where this pairing might lead. Bliss has mentioned in several interviews that a character shift could be coming for Charlotte Flair, even teasing the idea of Charlotte joining the Wyatts faction. With WWE's unpredictability, that kind of turn isn't off the table. For now, the two remain a reluctant but entertaining duo, with the women's tag team titles potentially in their sights. While Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair continue to test the boundaries of their uneasy alliance, another high-profile rivalry in the women's division is heading straight toward a collision course at SummerSlam. Backstage, Jade Cargill didn't hold back when addressing Tiffany Stratton, making it clear that she intends to finish what she started and leave with the women's championship. With tensions rising and both women performing at the highest level, the stage is set for a high-stakes showdown. Who do you think walks away with the title, and why? That's it for today, guys. How was SmackDown tonight? Stay tuned, as we're about to publish our SummerSlam review for both days.